Samope, Sampadia, Chimafidi non cotu, era one radio. Samope, Jumpadia, Chimafidi non cotu, era one radio. Oh, and you pumptima, Asam pumptima.
Hello, beautiful people of Ghana. This is URBANIZATION Specialist Hospital. We are so excited to announce to our people Ghana that we are finally opened and we are accepting patients. At URBANIZATION Specialist Hospital, our extraordinary physicians and nurses are here to provide a high-quality medical service to our extraordinary patients. Our services include primary care services, maternal, neonatal, and pediatric services. We also have an in-house pharmacy. We have X-ray and laboratory services available to you. Come to us for all your healthcare needs, and you will be happy you did, because we believe the health is wealth. Thank you, and stay blessed.
Hello. Good evening, Era One Radio listeners and viewers all over the world. It's another Saturday, the 25th day of February, the year of our Lord. Today is a very prominent day. It's a day of reminder. 33 years ago, today was when my dad passed away. So it's been a while. Well, we are doing the Health is Wealth show. Protect it. If you have health, if your health is good, you are a worthy person because you save a lot of money. You don't spend too much money buying medications and getting seen all over the place. So tonight, it's been another edition of what I just said, Health is Wealth. I'm here in the studio with Dr. Opoku, Agyemang, an epidemiologist. Both of us completed our PhD in Warden University. So that's how way back we go. Tonight, we are looking at another interesting topic, not very popular, but then it's still part of public health. And we titled it Public Health Problems of Urbanization. And in a jiffy, we'll be explaining what urbanization is. And so if you are listening to us, you can catch us live on Facebook, YouTube, Modern Ghana Radio, and also Guardian Radio. The number to call in is 2402-802633. And if you want to text, it's 510-931-0946. Again, we are broadcasting live on Facebook, YouTube, and all the other places platform that I mentioned. And Dr. Opoku Agyemang is on the other side of the studio. I will ask him to maybe say a few words, and then we'll take it from there. Doc, you're welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Boison. Now we are in the United States. It's getting to about 7 o'clock. Greetings will differ from different areas. So I would say good evening, good morning, good night, and good afternoon to all our spectators and those who are also watching us from different places. Thank you very much. And please, just get alerted, because what we're going to talk today is very important, particularly those who live in the cities. So I'll leave you for Dr. Boison to continue with everything that he has for us.
All right, thank you, Dr. Opoku Agyemang. It's here for Imre. Sana de bia ya na meme de bia ne ye broadcast no kwa de bro for the fan side. Ye broadcast Facebook and YouTube and radio so Modern Ghana Radio and Guardian Radio. And Imre esuade ye pese ye Imre ye friend public health problems of urbanization. We have public health our problems p nti Imre ye hwese bia so o tre kroma na so buy kroma na say wo pese wo siesie kro then so and then problems and adeba omam won crass and on person mutuba a krom and then maybe new omam krom ya no person mukọ crass nti the other way around here hwe se bibi sa sia hwam na bre resources ben and na ho chirom nti so person o free program na wo kire wa adwana so bisa question bia no man here 240280 2633. And as Albert text so 510-931-0946. All right, inti Senator Bia and the best start with warm-ups kakra. Na yahwe de trendy. Dr. Poko Agyemang was open board said me pe boy ya, me pe boy papa. Inti ye ni peti tru a se si oda ho da fom se si a wo Ghana e Christian achu. O pe boy na wo bobo kuma se se si a achu wo no then how has it affected you? Because me more than me damn in that, but me say bia also so will be also can one.
Yeah, actually, well, I surprised you because the first time I who actually was in the prison program there, when we say NGOs we didn't call her. Now, on my express say been the jail hall and yet because of a very big offense, but yeah. Sika woman yentria woman James and over. I think that day they were talking about 67 people. Now, from what I heard, is a 2 years volunteer for all these 67 people so that they can get themselves from seclusion to independence. And that actually made me think about this guy as a healthy, wealthy, and empathetic person. I think that this is a blow to Ghana. And it's not to the family alone, but to, in fact, all Ghanaians in the diaspora. You share on my meeting, you share so we share our condolence with his wife and children, and we pray that in the near future the Lord will replace him. He has left a huge vacuum in Ghana and in the family and even in the world at large. And the vampires in Yamisha Omodi. Now, young Ghana Fonso, you're all over the world. So Yamisha Yingradi. Now, the mind of empathy said you're not Ashuano and Fenkufi and Kobo. In fact, I was even surprised when I saw the school I would see and Kola Wumwa. Were all crying because they've lost a huge, big person. Even though a tree was a very gentle man, the children see him as their God, and he's the one who was providing for them. I pray that somebody should take this thing upon himself. Na also contribute more and Kolana, Omalusu, Yenuabema Achunu. Na himself, Onyame, Onyani Biakwa. I told me a blessing to you in answer. And so, and also, young consider that side. So, Oyeni Papa, no trust in trend upon Dakasian. Unyakupon friend, Mapana Kohevna, himself, choose to become. Intimida, Medaying and I did who yam, so I said, but let's have that courage from the other side.
Yeah, and so far can how my idea rehonina or my yako, especially in the bush for immediate family members, no, the year and mba me and son, and then if you for what Adani a voter in a moment yako because a branch with the old dream won't there as the be saying coupons add them, but where the ubi sacra dia. Ubenyam wenti yem for consolations because Yankopon ononkwana or tibia esiase obi beka na obi say nyame na de ma nyame na efa mesesi adam my esame nkasa asem bi because Job na ode amemfini ahotia onim say na obonsam na eso na ahwenti na ka say nyame na de ba nyame na efa ntisi am mpesa meka sa asem because na yem ya mpesa ma adwin say Yankopon na de ma na osan age yenti ahon de ye de beto hosa anyway yanko back to your program imbre say ye the problems associated with urbanization. So, would then problems never. Normally, you share under public health now. What is public health? Some of you reading some years. Public health is the science of protecting and improving the health of the people and community. Into any different from just obi ono yare ono nkasa yare o kase bia make hospital. And here wo personal yare. But say bibi eba se efa amansan now community nyina ho and then public health health ntie ye hwe bibisa ye hwe in general terms how it affects the whole population and the health of the population as a whole, especially as the subject of government regulations and support. And as a public health, it's a branch of medicine dealing with public health, including hygiene, epidemiology, and disease prevention. International urbanization so tre kroma them problems and edeba. All right, and see besides then urbanization An additional definition because it's the process of making an area more urban. She said, "Bia, local place. Bia say, serving class now. Now development now. Electricity. Now Germany urban. Yeah. So because and as another definition of urbanization, it refers to the concentration of human populations into discrete areas. This concentration leads to the transformation of land for residential, commercial, industrial, and transportation purposes. It can include densely populated centers as well as their adjacent peri-urban or suburban fringes. All right. And before I make you share an example, urbanization is a word for becoming more like a city. When populations of people grow, the population of a place may still spill over from city to nearby areas. This is called urbanization. Maybe tall apartment buildings spring up on what had been the outskirts of town, bringing more people there to live and work. Why do we need urbanization? When properly planned, urbanization can lead to congestion, higher crime rates, pollution, increased levels of inequality, and social exclusion. Inequality within cities has economic, spatial, and social dimensions. Nti ano na yebehwe enyimbre sana mekae no wotre krom say the advantages and disadvantages. Nti mama many doc discussion about it will focus on those areas. We're going to be looking at that. And areas yebehwe enyimbre ni housing. How does housing affect urbanization? Or what problems do we encounter as far as housing is concerned? We'll also look at sanitation. We'll look at drinking water problems and the healthcare facilities, crime wave, prostitution, alcoholism, and chronic mobility. So these are the areas we're going to look at if you want to extend the economy in terms of land. Mostly in country like Ghana. Omoto obeka so ohuna mo na mo krom kasiem bibia kro kasiem na capital wa Accra na ye egun krase hande bibia ni ha insuo kwa ye ne bi nti obi apeso rush de ko kro kasiem nti esa na fi kro kasiem na congested na nkron kitenketin so sparsely populated nti obi ohwe baby to say Accra Kumasi Takwa ni sa places na ye highly not say densely populated na baby so bi nti esa na bed na beda the main city no so edu baby kra na ide nkofugo enye baby nda enya Ghana nkwa bi ba US kra DC uko DC area kra nkofo me homeless omo ne baby nda omo da bonti nti obi a person spreading who call kasiem. What happens? But the good thing about developed countries versus developing countries is that they try to make all the facilities and amenities equal in all the centers. And fan say so me wa Virginia and near me ko DC me huno the same thing waha. I don't even have to drive to DC to get anything. If I want to do anything apart from the only thing say be as me pay visa I call Ghana bibisa I say me mail documents go DC. Those are specific items you have to do. But some me grocery store bia so me can say me call Kroger na say bibisa Kroger na wo DC no ebi wo Virginia here, ebi so Florida, ebi wo almost all the states. Until you don't have to struggle. So baby amiti me person me de me tuna me court now. Sa na yo other country say developer in crossover pin so me dem person me cook cresem na if congestion abante no na yimre ye person ye hwe. Into doc any e be discuss in be I best start with me you look at how your thoughts are concerning housing, maybe cost of land and what the population is affected by with the urbanization where people spread. We'll call it maybe immigration or some people are moving from. I mean, even in US, the same problem. Other countries are spewing they are leaving their countries to come and see greener patches. Pastor, we all do it. And the basa Corona move to know that is where the problem begins. Mama doc, mama what started? Near action. So be up so do be started as introduction as a preamble. And so I call and so you are welcome to do that.
Yeah, Mamifaka Krevinka urbanization, a very simple definition. Was a change of size of the city, and the community, the density of the community, and heterogeneity of the community. Just a mere change of size, but getting bigger, not smaller. When it's getting bigger, then the place is becoming urbanized. And we definitely and the back home.
Okay.
I know I agree with you 100% about the industrialization, related to the city, as vis-a-vis the villages. As we said about housing, I can't remember passing in one of my my A-level questions, some time back in 1978, the question was that how does movement of the cities from the villages to the cities affect ecology? That was the question they asked me. Up till now, I was just baffling. What was these people looking for?
Marking scheme.
What's it?
Some of the marking scheme was so much specific responses.
I was thinking about when people are moving from rural community to the cities now, all that came to my mind, air congestion.
Okay.
I talked about congestion, but I did not relate the congestion to housing and also cars movement or marketing places and hospitals and all that I thought was congestion. And I feel the next thing about when the town is expanding, the land are being used to build buildings or build hospitals, build other infrastructures in the city. And on the other hand, some trees are going to be felled down, the weeds are going to be cut away, and maybe some streams in the around that area are going to be tempered, so they are all going to dry up. And those are the facts that I put them down. But I think I was actually moving on the right path. But even though I got a E on that degree, I thought I couldn't satisfy them. So if again, by urbanization, we have mentioned Nipana Amumuvu Abakurumu. But Dr. mentioned Nemebeka, so let's talk about the people first. Nipana Amumuvu Abakurumu, why are they coming there? A question. The question is, they are coming for green pasture. Green pasture, no. They get it. No. They have to get a place to stay. They need water to drink. They need a place to go to bath, to go to bathroom or to shower. The showering water needs to go to a place. They need to go to, let's say, number one. The number one needs to move to another place. And when you look at all those things together now, when we say when somebody is moving, the person who is moving does not think about all these things. But if more than the number of people that are required to live in an area go to live in a certain area, they create what is known as congestion.
Okay.
Now, congestion has a lot of patterns, but the most serious one is the sewer and sewages in process. Because if you go there now, your toilet, your toilet, the animal weighing should look. The city must look at where all these things are going to be discharged, and it poses a big problem to municipalities near urban area management teams. In fact, Ghana to United States, or I don't want to compare Ghana to the United States. Neither do I have to compare Lagos to the United States, because the level of development, it's uncomparable. It's not comparable, and you don't make it that way. But again and again, it is very unique for us to look at it from the perspective said, refuse and sewer, how do you build it? Do you want to build in a localized area, or you want the people together? Where the particular are they going to throw it away? This has been a problem in Accra, Kumasi, and I don't find this problem in Tamale, because when I watched Tamale was very clean city. And I don't see this in much in Sunyani also. But who say Kumasi Accra, because the central market now is a refuge at the ban, a more than an area of refuge at the ban. And the government of the city probably is not seeing how to discharge these things away from the city. More particularly, drainage is the home in Ireland. So drainage is in Sicily. The next is a creative flood, and again, a sense of distribution in Suna Asinu. in echo other places into a contaminated land, no, and to create another year. And we're talking about the soil congestion. That is one aspect of it. The second aspect of it is say oba na omoye be no mo quarantine 1 bedroom. A bedroom a fa nipa be 2 can take about 10 or 12 people. So you can imagine what is happening there. A room no a certain capacity of air containing. And you know, say one more dozen no more, they have polluted that air now inside.
Yes,
Women say Yaribi can come in there. And I say if one person goes out to pick a single transmittable disease, airborne transmittable disease, almost 10 or nipa 10 no matter them on. Hopefully, woman will be catching a Yarian. Now, you show woman eating behavior. So, nipa 10 no matter down back. How do they find good food to eat? Now, don't put the mammy family see us and we will be big cracker. Then we go ahead.
Yeah, right point. Yeah, maybe I'm the best also answer. In terms of housing, when we're talking about urbanization, because in Kofu, it move from, let's say, the villages to the city, no, they also, there will be the tendency for, like you are saying, accommodation. In Kofu to demo, no, 8 people. And if you so, land purchase also becomes another problem. Because we are here to know, as I see the while, Obi and Shadan yes or top. But because people are moving into, as I said, what by ding. Emma, and say, Mika say years ago, now I see a be at 2,000, 3,000 Ghana cities. You see, Okita, me just look at 10,000 Ghana cities squares. I see, I'll be a sister.
It's over 1 million now.
Yes, Uber Quechripa, and yes, as if there's a demand on the buildings, then you have to build more structures. And as I boy, because you see, Matisse, Nigeria for Kwapo is sweeping to Ghana to buy land, and because they are bringing huge amounts of money, almost at extravagant costs, even the people in the country cannot afford. So that's one area where people are sweeping, migrating into your country, and they increase the prices of land and other, there's pressure on the resource, the land. But then you can also look at the other side. So, okay, when you have migration coming into you have people coming to work and maybe pay their tax and all that stuff. But either way, you can look at it from different angles. I think so you're on the right path, but that's what I wanted to add, that buildings also become a problem. You have to build more structures, land become expensive, landlords are building structures and they are hijacking their prices. So when you advance maybe a year or two, and so when you dire rent last be a video who lady be about social media say in the time I also renew the fee. Not the landlord also beginning 2 years more advanced, only 2 years, and the way increases. Those are some of the rules that if people are coming into the cities from the villages now, you are putting more burden on what is already there, and it gives people also the authority to increase whatever they have. So there is the burden of housing issue, cost of land, and additional cost. All right, just so we can go into sanitation. I say. So would be better answer your question. But our next point I want us to look at is the sanitation aspect. But I think but this time I'll go into details about sanitation problem.
Okay, before I go sanitation, congestion.
Okay.
You mentioned as I said, we're building more houses, which is very important. But look at this issue: the electricity flow into the community, before this big migration into the city, there were certain capacity here. So I believe in a bit my handle. And it's when it comes to the point here, when we expand here, then the cost of electrification also go increase. Road network and also go increase. It becomes a bigger burden to the city because I'm building more roads, I'm increasing electricity one. Stay out, new houses now more expanding, and also another thing. And yes, you should as a anya and you decide. Again, also yes, I could to anya a one land me creating a kind of areas here, and habitable, and it be sit down very habitable. Into within the city, But be one my any better place to go because of what they have done over there. It is a urbanization a whole of a disruptive ecological system now a what area hona or more urbanized home. And this is jumping us to the sanitation. I can answer. Also,
Mami added just a bit before that. We can also look at the quality of what the buildings, where sometimes mediocrity can also set in. But because of the influx of people demanding houses and other structures, even contractors tend to be very shabby in what they do. Cement as a Danny P cement in Antissa hand but one cement near them blocks the vehicle now for quality of equipment so we use. Case in point, Nancy ye bobo ye new case here the Renaissance building and they say what taking yes contractors need see down ye pomachum or yachium it's alleged so it's been alleged say the quality of the structure they put there did not meet governmental standards. Earthquake nearby, although you earthquake nearby, but from the most musica. But say one materials as a codan, one use quality product. No see the beer mediocrity, shabu be me pemisika, me missing for bow. Next week I mean we no see the beer as earthquake, but as a Buddha and a shiwa. Wono, be a Ghana de and yoshi. But other places no yabe hand too. I say a hand is uncle for say Dana Mudisi Wono. When seeing ye internet quick nearby and a shake community a bands so we have to look at the quality of what you are doing because we are what you have watched more be so on see dama down say this cement be 10 no we use 5 no I bought an 10 p gum into ensure the need quality of to be able to withstand the stress into be BSC in the effect of urbanization. This is one area we have to look at the quality. We compromise quality and just do quantity, which is also very bad. I
mean, you hit a very strong point here. And Tinama, the Brenzo can see that they build slum houses, and they live in it. And also, as a subject to something as we're going on, will be probably hit over there. So let me jump to the sanitation here. What is the sanitation at all? Sanitation is a near man, a free and one. The person you got to do now, you got to do in the right format. Emma impediment via MIS. Now, city now ya building any pair bum. The city has online capability me a handle the refuse minimum. But as the people came in, it increased the volume of the city what the city can contain. And according to one of Sabola. And I say refugee be for bed, yeah, bed 2 months, 3 months now. You are asking me why. But it has another implication here. The implication here is that the people probably are not having enough taxes to get money to do the work that they have to do. Sikani niho. And mobile you run a somewhere I'm one of them. Someone who doesn't no, but we'll go into that one too. And refuse I can't was some a refuse near a bed 9. You were sub toilet. And you were a wooda nankasa yen dirty things na yen. And you were say who could be near and who shuna and who near my wushi at Webu. And Sana. If you so sabi ube jare ene ne manema sa ne man nan ni nyina no e se enya baby ko eni no se u si dan ya you ase wo hwe sa ne man nan nyina ena ne to so enum na enya so magnificent but ehu nya pa se ensuo to butu ya and also ese nya the direction ayeko. And when we now come together, say, yeah, refuge. They think about the sanitation, all these 5 elements. And some mission. And so Nipano be guma couldn't move be now almost see a like Accra. Yamfa Accra, example. Accra, one say, almost see Diane business club, almost see streets no. A pan, everyone in the fear, or the curiosity who be. Na obi was on the fear e wo kwampa but the fear no wa directing nsuo ni nyina begu the small gutter yan yahwe wo ho ana abegum enti ne nsuo no begum a entimi draini ana kura se major drainage no ahefa na eko so drainage na begum no ahefa na eko ba bi ekwa kugu no ede na eko so wo ho no is somebody doing something about that drainage na kugu ho no whether whatever any kind of the drainage na kugu say obi nya ho hwe ya remember say agu wa che no there are certain particular insects be either a vectors or they can be mechanical vectors. And as I don't know, bit my create a place a build microbes be almost bit my area back community. And into say refuge, who urbanize city. Now went to me and talk very well about the city refuge. Now these are some of the complications. One, it me a produce a area. By yare baby on man, yare be on man, and yet ubi na debre a yarn your one yarena sabe yankasa. A yankasa a self-inflicted disease, yarn ya debre. So I cost one yama wintimi. Now what's one swear na unhunaman. The same Bola wabuan will go na entum, no one the best idea yama. So remember, say the cost of unya proper disposal. Since and you look at the two, then you pick the one that will serve you better. And the sanitation, your state is be one man. Now a baby shot this siwa say, Smeka siwa so the toilet so are mixed together now and only drainage. Your city be a more centralized one. Centralized one, no, maybe out here doesn't matter. The city have laid down all these lines. And you go try baby, you just jump into the main line. Now be a come. Like I said, if you should be a treatment area now, a treating one. Your city be they don't care. And the individuals and a building or modernity. But again and again, no, we building no modernity one. Now, for some reason, a move break crack it, that's a drainage, make me asipu into the land. So be a builder well be. You can also contaminate the person and then let the person get sick. And also when the complications. And when the city enlarges now, all this incoming water become very, very scarce because time now, expanded buildings, I see expanded lines, water lines. A biana ensure volume na city no no, and enough to go to that place. Ensure almost supply do a near cutting. And do 24/7 water. And you know, my baby, a war, your city, we are living in the city, we don't get them. Not because we don't get them, it's because it's insufficient for us to supply all of you at the same time. As I said, the population in the community now, it wasn't the population now, prepares our insurance on person of the supply to community. It makes it very scarce, so you cannot do well with your sanitation. And then it leads to a whole lot of
Yo, Doc, if you rightly said it, I think you've mentioned everything that needs to be said about sanitation. Maybe what I'm just going to add is the aspect of pollution. The one interesting thing is that in most of the developing countries, of course, when you put up any structure or any building, there are building codes that must go with them. And normally the governmental agencies are even sent to come and look at your building structure, make sure you are meeting the codes. And just like in our homeowners association, maybe it's a crown area, what homeowners association, our meeting ya form a homeowners association. Wow, run a grass, a foot too much. Yet maybe a ticket, say Jack, or grass never so chihuahua to fear now, or pass our grass of funo. Say food too much, I say a food do, who say area ho, because we fear our grass therefore said the whole beauty of the place in Yamawaya. And to almost suma agents, Emma share before we be rebuilding them. Coast as a meeting, and most of developing countries, I don't think they even care about those codes. Or sit down now, or no, he or she just cares about the internal structure of the house, or when the pipe or sewage between, but immediately outside the house, no. They don't care where the water should go. Se bia se nsuo kese bi na ato na yiri a na mo fie nim ho a is there any major gutter? Most of the places, no, gutters now concealed. Uba bontifa unhu gutter biya, but other places when you develop, we say gutter need the wedding where you to ball the gumini adenya. Those things we have to watch, because if it's a beer and then watching our quarter and our two, I have been two and when I won't care. That in so be here one the barber foul. So we have to be very cautious about when we move into an let's say from a village where it's underpopulated to a city that is overburdened by people. We have to watch, say we are going to put extra burden on that place. Into ball and we have to be very cautious. There should be designated areas ball and this time some will be say zoom line and say bibisa ball formation every week yeah for ball which is it goes to a place away from your house. The effects of all those pollution and disease doesn't come back to you. We have to watch the sanitation. I mean, back in those days, I don't want to mention names, but you got to be part of the primary school. Yet, go for football legumes and so are they happening to that area? It's very, very pathetic. So we have to watch those as we expand from the cities, the villages now, trying to go and seek greener pastures. No, we have to watch very well our sanitation. If you are increasing the people, you are increasing work employees tax, then it's incumbent upon us to say, so we get tax and so we expanded the economy now. It has to be commensurate with what we are receiving. Into which is gonna fire Nema to make up for the expansion. If you are getting more people, then you are building up more structures, you are making allowance for sanitary aspect, the people should breathe right. It will be and most people also nihane akwadro. Where did you na? Oh, where did you so bag given a kitawa fatum and I say Mwasha won some mudu baby advantage place bia na wo de atum. But in California, sir, Odi wachevi, Odi, Doknuvia, Huna, no, watch because cloning any day or not to make a you don't care, but there's later all over 1 hour, no, 1 hour, home. And there are things that I know some maybe by this time there we have vantage places are almost dustbins and I say waste basket SEC Ukita waste we are now there too. I mean other places so quite before we enter stores and I say even on the corridors or verandas, no. Or more trash cans into one case I will gather with trash. Now they are too. It's very, very, very useful. But some places and just I wouldn't say FIPA one time, yeah, Mesra, one of the African countries. Hey, uncle for a ton omonyama just a source anymore. And I got a scape down dog in real pa no good ball them. Then call for teaching because almost for a long time, no sense, no, they are immune to it. But me na me ho na me kotwa mu no one second permit na somebody handkerchief to me hand on to say me pass it just so to say gata kesia ensuo ni trash ni nra mi ami obi wako to me corner kiosk mu only toilet nti sabi no we jane na wo o hwe na obi amba na wa chichi bi no da beto enim ho na ensuo so fam you are harming yourself. When it comes to that, when the city is expanding now, we also have to make sure we are taking care of our sanitation aspect. Doc, maybe we'll talk a little bit about water, but I'm saying a customer is within sugar room to remember a clip quickly now. Yeah, about drinking water. The aspect of water supply to a big city which is being urbanized. All right.
Chimafidi non kotu era one radio. Samupe jumpe dietia. Chimafidi non kotu era one radio. Oh, ayum pamchima. Chimtu asam pamchima. Chimtu agratum chima. Era one, yebo yumpankua.
Okay, you are still with us on Era One Radio Studio. We are broadcasting live on Facebook and YouTube. Well, tonight I'm in the host. I'm in the studio with Dr. Opoku Agyemang, and then myself. We are discussing the effects of urbanization when people move from the villages to, let's say, the cities. There's a burden that falls on the main city because they are having an influx of a lot of people. And so because of there is a burden on the resources of that new place, But in the same time, when they leave, the place they left, the source, has become underpopulated because most people are migrating from there to a newer place which has better resources for them. And when it happens that way, it looks as if the people are moving towards a city where there is a kind of non-agricultural environment, because they are leaving all the agricultural areas, which is the village, and they are going to the city, and they have to be fed. Who is going to feed them? The feeding will come from the village, and that's where they left. So there are only a few people who are going to be in the village going to take care of them. Now let's turn our attention to our drinking water. When it comes to urbanization, how is our drinking water affected? And I'll throw the ball to Dr. Opoku Agyemang to take us through the drinking water phase. Doc.
Okay. When you look at drinking water now, as you say, Ghana, your problem is drinking water. Ask me why. Because the city wasn't only one city that expanded beyond the control of the city committee number. Accra, Kumasi, Takoradi. Possibly Suwannee hasn't gotten that problem yet.
Please don't leave our Cape Coast, because you see people feel.
I know Cape Coast has the same problem. And then when you talk about Tamale is a new developing city. I'm sure they will resolve this issue before it becomes a big deal for them. The city must have a plan, a future plan. There's so many future plan B. Now, almost estimate said this city can contain maybe 500,000 people. So their water and sewage planning should involve people of about 500,000 people, and they have to know the average water usage, disposal, and water needs for each community. That will help them to multiply it to the number of people, and look for the average number of people that will be in the city for the time that they will set for themselves. So, Basa, so much me yes, calculations now. That's a people 500,000 no more prepare for 500,000. The other village now. And then people from they have to create another environment for them. Now they work for them in a different environment. This is a resolution being here. Nevertheless, sir, Nipano ever translated the normal you plan for 250,000 people in that community. That is now providing quite said, but the Nipa could be a bit contribute used to be 10 gallons a day. Now, only 25,000, you need about 250 million volumes of water. Now, Nipali be bet to us, so I'm a little 500. You cannot supply them. The one supply almost what happens? The next thing that you have, they will suck it. It will almost suck in. You don't know method or model sucking. So the whole water now will be polluted. So Dr. Boison, you're cool. Once we see there now, on water until we go now, tap into the idea of kind of us to tap into, he doesn't care. And when we say, maybe a woman more the skin pattern, they complain of certain disease, not diarrhea, a possible one. You cannot trace where that disease is coming from. Possibly, maybe an ubina tap into or contaminating. So, but so one day is all the way to a destination now. What planning a routine? So they also, I don't know if the US and other developing countries background. Country be the US, country be the Sweden, country be the Holland. One more patch, you don't have any problem. So when we see when it's well laid down. Yes, so you sit down rough. It's a down quite plan. It's society. At this point in time, so one learn to one. It's very difficult to do it. So, in the city now, there were problems because your problems there. Yeah, as an individual, we don't support the planned program in our community. And Nipans almost share some plans. Almost they don't supervise their work well. Because before they are aware, now Obia could see that no more the red mark be a comac.
Stop work.
Really know, sir. Saprotono, Obi Ato, I will be suicidal. Oman Yahu. And Nipano Cotra than we are now ensure and for him. The waste material of him. Oh, that is a big problem. You say the cities now all over the country or more encounter. So Bekaya, better about 3-4 years ago, now almost refuse disposal cars be an government order. So Kaya now distribution acquire problem. Because each and every community we APB. And yes a problem let's say about management and planning how they can gather this refuse. No more buano, no more control. Planning you want person oh, and you know the sanitation aspect I can was that is how it is. Already my book I can all the 5 types of sanitation. I did back what can I say do very well say. Sir, what you feel now only sewer, only toilet to feel. Now why do you say drainage na a word than any honeymoon? A honeymoon outside. Remember, such a drainage in a number than any more con. A coffee will be then. Now, why do you crack of be fee? And you know, when you throw anything into it now, you are not, you are safe, you are protected, you think you are all right, but the other person at the end, you've damaged the person. Again, a business drainage not assuming the chrome on Monaco boom. To say, when you look at Kumasia, almost should be down, or that you drop it in, some people are drinking that water downstream. And you can also imagine what kind of thing as we are going to go into that place too. And the pollution I can was drainage is part of it. Drainage control. A quiet faster control with drainage. A quiet faster use with drainage. Drainage again can also cause over flooding. So we see that see and also we see kiosks, we see with the anti. Now ben go check see how can ya. Na nsuo no to na from anfa na de gota no kokuchi saa drainage ni mu a emura na eba ni na ebe pick na broko no the nsuo na eba ni na ebe broko a kopem say ebe flood the whole area enti no e flood ho no ma wo a wo di kiosk nkosi wo no wo na are the cause of the problem because the kiosk na anko to nsuo ho no ma enka drainage no be straight to where it's going enka there won't be any flood. And the kiosk now because see one I could talk on my first problem at the same time, what two baller what two baller a good drainage in one, so you know the wagons and your tubby piacon, and I call broke baby, and also to make a broke balance, I call broke baby, flat, and also I drain all over the place, I quiet flood all over the place. I conclude. And you know, sitting on a casino as we are saying, no, Sanima wing is going to come to pass. And you know, we have to foresee the problem and resolve the problem before something happens. Other than that, you know, it as when we die, you know, our children will come. Maybe they have no plan for that. They will do the same thing, and people will be dying, and they'll be dying more. And I think that the best time to do this, you know, is this time that city no expanding. You expand your drainages. You pay a good way to resolve issues now. Drainage, you know, at the brain. A good way to resolve issues now, sanitation issues now at the brain. A good way even to pattern the houses. So the drainage a straight course of the aqua, and go across other places. The for fufi and money. I'll probably have to limit myself on this session. Not Dr. Boison, so I will be bigger crowd as well. The account.
Okay, all right. So we have 9 minutes more to hit the hour, and I think Dr. Opoku Agyemang, said it rightly concerning the water aspect. All I'm going to add is that most of the people, most countries use their water resources, apart from the functions of providing water. It's also served as a tourist area. And some places, the people, the inhabitants, the residents, go along the banks of the river. That's where they do their defecation. And this same water is what is being refined, processed to serve as drinking water for them. So please do not be your gas and see a friend shanking, men shanky, and shanky won't show now a bambasna process. You want no. Tell me confession time. You were a school no Augustins. Yeah, you schools and Augustins. I think it's one of the only school. Yeah, Nipono. ewu enimu pa ye school ni ana street the enimu the main street no and upon na da ho enti bia imre ye we dan ho na ye mpese ye use school toilet no na boys ni bia rally ye ho na yakotena mpo ano ho na chese ya manframa no afa ye ho saa na ho na ye niama, which is bad. Other countries are using the beach, the oceans as tourist center. We should stop defecating at the beaches, and especially in the local waters that are being used or being processed for our drinking. We have to make sure we are getting them cleaned up. So at this junction, I can say, Bibi and who and funny pound, Bibi and who because I would and found Bibi a found. And you know the story, I think I've said it before. Obofona Okohu a Jenkuku, Uswa, now Homaka shed a assistant on cancer Jenkuku, so I did. Nti wanja dede no ya ba affect omu nyina e na dede no ye ne assemble me because of bofo no ekuma no ma no e na ode ayi ohu sa chichire so da efom ho a na ofa ahoma so de chichire omu nyina nto miensa nyina asem to omu nti bibia ne ho awi ase wo beka sa wo de emfa ho ade a wo ye nde no e china e befa ho enti Mondays ye shows a ye wo every one no Kobe I think on Kobe ne Dr. Opoku Agyemang na Dr. Ostus omoye program ya omato din yensom bibia ne ho emfa ne ho because o mane be ye a ejira enia so wo pese wonya good drinking water na wo ko na ye bibia out na ye a brighten the corner where you are enti program no njuma ma fa na ye o mane be ye enti ma membo njuma no quickly na ye source because I want us to buttress our what we discussed.
Sampaetia Obayansa Puso Bundia one kana sam they mafu to some kakre wa supreme yo kofi omaya woman omani ya mama yenyi baby ako watata ya wareni wonsom wanyinyi pa asade pa wo fioye yamo yembera
All right, welcome back to Era One Radio. We are broadcasting live on Facebook, YouTube, Modern Ghana Radio, and Garden Radio. Tonight, we are looking at the effects what urbanization brings. Of course, there's a positive side. There's also a negative side. We are looking at the negative side in terms of public health. As public health people, we want to make sure the health of the people is our concern. We want to take the last topic because of time. We have only 4 minutes more. We'll look at healthcare facilities and then maybe the other for crime, prostitution, alcoholism, chronic morbidity. We'll take that next time. But I want us to take the final topic, that's the healthcare facilities. And so in terms of urbanization, say you share some movie fee in crossing about Mankesima. I see I should say on my pomodin and him mobeko and him on because you are increasing the population in the cities. So you have to make sure you are compensating whatever you give earlier. And that is why census is very important. You know, at every point in time, the government wants to know how many people are living in this community, how many health centers do we need, how many hospitals, how many ambulances do we need. All that is important. So when it comes to urbanization, healthcare facilities are very important. We have to make sure that, I think Dr. Opoku Agyemang mentioned about the number of people living in the locality. You should at least for tonight we couldn't pick up too much a statistic, but you want to make sure that at any small locality there should be a fire department or ambulances where if there is any emergency, people can be helped. These ambulances can speed up there and come and pick up whoever needs help. You don't call ambulance and it takes you like 2 hours before a truck shows up. And especially whilst we are on this case, you don't send an empty ambulance to a place, or even if it's need water. That is why we have water shunts all over the city with water availability. When the ambulance shows up and there is no water in their truck, they can just hook up their valves or tubes and they get their water supply. So we have to look at the health facilities. If your city is expanding because people are migrating to it, then we have to make sure we are providing the healthcare centers, the community centers. Every availability should be made to have healthcare centers that will take care of the people. If you have 1 million people living in an area and you have only one ambulance, I don't think that is helpful. If you have a population of 1 million people living in one geographical area and you have a health center that can only take maybe 50 people, 100 people, then we are not doing justice. Well, we have 2 minutes. I'll let Dr. Ernest take the 2 minutes, and then next time we meet, we'll go over the rest, because actually we have to revisit the health centers and we'll continue from the doc.
Yeah, I think at this point in time, I wish we can recap what we have done so that we can we limit the healthcare system, because it's a we cannot say much about it now.
All right, over to you.
Let's look at Mama. Let me just change the tune here. Mama, you share urbanization here. I did be on my lead to healthcare here, but Boison I can't was any concentration of the people in the rooms, sewage, building houses and building roads, and concentration of shopping centers, accidents. Marketing, those people who travel, taxis and other accidents, and then other thing, all these things come together, but the end result is that any bad thing will go to the hospital there. So the hospital is going to be concentrated with people. And I don't know, a very big entity as you can once in one day. So when the hospital is smaller than the population itself now, it has a very big impact on the people. But again, when you look at the urbanization and the way the concentration is now, and it comes to light there. You have social problems, you have physical problems, you have chemical problems, and so on. Now, you do very well on the social problems. So, nipa no betina talk one be pass one betina yie na wo niema on be wasting nyina so yetima take care of it dem ko fire remre. But our Boison tries to make a lot of answers and resolution regarding how you beat Martina without all these things. To me, what I'm saying is that all the city chairpersons must probably do a census of their community and look at the area that they think the city can encroach and plan well for this city. Because the city, one planning well, eventually, you are leaving a very huge problem for your successors now. City is a whole like a country. You have to plan it well. Planning well with lightning, water, and road, you have almost finished the city. And yet, Kurobiana, like Kumas baby okra street in Nihon. Like what Dr. Boison was saying is that Obianya issue bina ambulance go fana. I said this ambulance go park a crown ya kosweni penifli baby no babe. Every panu free baby middle ambulance no. Oh, city planning is very important. We the public health experts, we are actually concerned about the population and how they live well. And yes, I won't believe na adu baby na because as I said, Basa, I didn't know to ambulance the community. The ambulance should go to the house and help. The same thing Kofi on Gongo here for now, baby and Sanaphobia, Bana, we have done nothing. And I answer Nipana Titiku, as you see a mindset, you see teeny a mindset nowhere. Because what you mean, go sit down and see street so. And I said, Fanko Bata will be out down one and from Manfam. And I said, what you mean, my goat and go for be. And I said, what you mean, you go and block the whole city road and flooded the whole community. It's not helpful. And if the government is not doing a good thing to us, we have to think and do something better for ourselves. On the other hand, we are also a government, and you have to do something better for yourselves.
That's true.
And don't let us sit down and open across our legs and open our eyes looking for the government to come and do something for us. Maybe I will end up here, but for some reason, we are going to continue with this topic, and I believe all of you who are far and near will meet us and ask us questions that we think a warrant for this particular issue I am discussing was.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Opoku Agyemang. So it's here for Imre. What we tried doing was that I think we started with our just a little bit of warm up, and we paid homage and give our condolences to our brother's family, Christian Achu. And I think we went ahead to define what public health is. And we also made a comparison between what is public health and what is personal health. And then we did a bit of definitions and examples of urbanization. And then we actually focused our discussion on housing, the cost of land, and the demand for buildings when people migrate from, let's say, villages to, the cities, because most people talk about two forms of urbanization. When people move from the village to the small cities, and when people move from small cities to the bigger cities, these are the main forms of urbanization that we need to worry about. We also talked about the effect of sanitation, how it affects the urban areas. Of course, those who are migrating to the city, they have to worry about the burden on the city. And those who are in the village now are getting underpopulated. We also looked at drinking water, and then we kind of touched lightly on healthcare facilities, which we're going to look at in-depthly next week, because as Dr. Opoku Agyemang said, it will take us the whole session to finish that. So next week, when we are able to go over the healthcare, we'll also look at crime, how crime, affects urbanization, or how this comes about when you urbanize, some of the problems that are associated with crime. And we'll also look at prostitution. We'll look at alcoholism, and we'll also look at chronic morbidity. So, well, on behalf of our studio manager, Dr. Setutu, and the whole Era One team, I want to say thank you for joining us tonight. I don't know whether Dr. Opoku Agyemang, do you have any closing remarks before we wrap things up?
Thank you very much, Dr. Boison. I think you can wrap it up.
Okay. All right. So thank you very much. Of course, don't forget that Era One is a 24/7 program. We have programs running through every day of the week. Tomorrow, for those of you like sports, at 4 p.m., meet our host to give you highlights of what is happening in the sporting world. And then our ladies, our fantabulous ladies, we call them the Incommon Kitten ladies. They will come and wow you. Before we leave, Doc, let me just play their clip and then we'll wrap it up. Here we go.
They are four women. They are beautiful with brains. They are eloquent, decent, wise, and experienced. You have heard many, the funny. Now, it's time to hear the experience and the brainy. Meet Selena, Dorcas, Gifty, and Annette as they present the real Incommon Kitten. Incommon biaye sesi chain, the dead, as in takre no assume the dead, the real Incommon Kitten. Showing live this and every Sunday, 7 p.m. on Era One Radio on Facebook and on YouTube, Era One Radio and on Taibo channel. Kaise, so we see the real Incommon Kitten what brabon tete, we nyan konkonsa, we the real Incommon Kitten.
For making time with us tonight. I appreciate you being around for this discussion. So God willing, I will see you next week or possibly the other week. But then have a good evening and God bless you. Bye-bye.
Awuminia oboni mensubi ya mensubi mo ya wapati kasihia ya musishino atabarura didi